Hey guys, welcome back to this week's vlog. Today I have a very special guest. It's Natalie Malcolm here, and we first connected when you played one of my songs on BBC Introducing Cambridgeshire. Really appreciate you doing that, thank you. And of course, it's awesome to be able to chat. We're actually in Half Ton Studios in Cambridge. They've revamped the room and have been very kind to let us use this for this vlog. So welcome, Natalie. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Got loads of questions for you, all to do with radio, artists, music, your passion as well. So we'll crack through it. Here we go. Okay, so we're ready for question number one. I'd love to know a little bit about your background and how you got into radio, and particularly how you got on to the BBC Introducing show in Cambridgeshire.
Yeah, so as a kid, I always loved music. Never I couldn't play any instruments at the time. Definitely can't sing. We won't be singing on this.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I'll just get a little melody out. But just obsessed with music. I think it came from like my family as well. Like my dad always had the radio on, always had CDs, vinyl, cassette, probably back in the day. Don't even know what it was now. Yeah, not that old. I'm not joking. And I think for me it was listening to like the icons on radio and just having that connection, that one-to-one, even though you know that so many people are listening to a show, and it would be just you, you is the key word in radio. If you want to get into radio, you. But you could just feel like you're in a room and they was your best mate. So I wanted to kind of explore that a bit more. So music, radio. I did a course at college, and completely U-turn from school. Everybody was like, "What are you going to do next?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to study radio," and everybody was like, "What?" Studying radio. And then I did it at uni, and just kind of went on from there. And I guess for Introducing Cambridgeshire, I work at BBC Radio Cambridgeshire, so that helped as well. Being in the environment and being into music, because the station's quite news-based. So when somebody likes music, it's like, oh right, wow,
you can do it.
Yeah. So Ellen, the previous presenter who's now left, she was taking some time off, and the opportunity came up. You have to do a demo, so you have to show that you can, you have to showcase what you can do. And they were like, yeah, we'll put you on to cover then. And that's kind of how it went on from there. So luckily, it's all about getting that first gig kind of thing. You have to, it's really good to be in the building, because then you're there, you can be like, right, obviously not first date, I want to present, but hi, I'm working here, but I really want to be on air. And then show them what you can do, and that's kind of what I did, and then here we are now.
Amazing. So this next question I'm particularly interested in. It's obvious you're an advocate for local artists, but I want to know, as an artist, what you are looking for, because I'm sure there's people who submit tracks and it doesn't get played on radio. What are the key ingredients that you're looking for in a song that you think, this could be someone great to showcase, or I love this song?
Oh, yeah. So for me, because a lot of tracks do get uploaded, and unfortunately we can't play them all. So it is you have to cherry pick the best kind of thing, and it definitely varies whoever's presenting as well. So at the moment somebody else is presenting, and we have different styles, so that is a factor. I know that's really hard, but that is a factor in itself. It depends on who the person is. But for me, what I kind of I look for simplicity as well. Simplicity is kind of key. We have something called the uploader that people upload tracks to, and if somebody's got a nice profile that ticks all the boxes, it's got everything there, then I'll listen to the track. And for me, it's sometimes, I don't know whether it's because of pandemic and what we've been in, for me it's just got to kind of uplift me. We do play sad songs, obviously.
Don't write sad songs.
I want happy stuff. No, I'm joking. We do obviously play happy songs, sad songs and things like that. But for me, when I pick my tracks for the show, I kind of sit there and I'm not doing anything to begin with, and I think, right, what's a good track? I'm listening, I think, what do I like? But then I'll also do other things afterwards, and if I'm still drawn to that track whilst I'm sidetracked, then I think, right, that's a good track. But if I've forgotten it whilst I'm doing something, I think, because on the radio, people listen to radio whilst they're driving, washing up, doing whatever, so you're not focused on it fully. So I think it's good to do other stuff whilst listening to the track, because that's what the everyday listener is going to be doing. So yeah, it's a kind of a range of things. I kind of, it depends what mood I'm in. So if I'm a bit like, oh, I need to pick me up, and somebody uploads a happy track, I'm like, right, this is in. But then also like sad songs, I kind of, if I'm feeling that type of way, I think, oh, I'm really like drawn. So it's kind of like what I can relate to as well. And I also like when people put track notes, because then I know what they've made it about, and that makes me relate to the song more. So, and then I can kind of hear it and feel it. So yeah, a couple of things, but it varies on who's kind of doing it as well, which is really helpful.
I always wonder whether people read those track notes. I'm like, should I put anything in there?
Yeah, so I read everything, because sometimes I find some people upload and there's not that much about them, and then I kind of think, well, unless the track is like 10 out of 10 and I've got so much to say about it, it's kind of like, because I've got to build my show around who the artist is and what the track's about.
And you're introducing them to the world, effectively.
And if I've not got nothing on my end to introduce them about, it is quite hard, because I think, well, I don't want to say the wrong thing if they've not told me something and I don't know about them. So track notes, I would do track notes.
That's really helpful. Can you tell us what difference you think it makes for emerging artists? And have you seen any progress in people's careers through you or your colleagues playing tracks on Introducing?
Yeah, no, this is a great question. So honestly, it can do massive things for local artists. So on the uploader, when we listen to a track, if we think they've got potential, or I know that show will love that, we can send it on. We have the power. I've got a lot of power. We have the power to send these tracks on to lots of different shows centrally. So some of your favourite shows on Radio 1, it could be Six Music, Radio 2, more niche and specialist shows. We have the power to do that. And also festival opportunities. I know it's been a bit of a lacklustre one this year, but definitely in the past, and hopefully like next year, we have stages on Latitude, Glastonbury, I think one festival in Texas, one in the USA.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I don't even get free tickets to it.
Shame.
We put on stages at a couple of festivals, like big festivals, and you see so many artists come through there and go on to be like, big amazing artists. So we really can help out. Like just recently, Strawberry Lace, a band in Cambridgeshire, they hadn't really uploaded too much. I think their first upload was this year, and we sent it on, and they played at Latitude this year.
Right.
And Ellie Dixon, to be fair, is probably like the biggest example I can think of, where she started uploading when Tom Simpkins did Introducing before Ellen. So round about, I want to say 2015, when she was very young, and then Ellen gave her a lot of plays and exposure and spotlight interviews and different opportunities. And like a month ago, her track was Introducing Track of the Week on Radio 1. She's played at Latitude, and she's built a really big platform now. And it's literally just obviously through her hard work, but through Introducing as well. So it's great, and I feel like the most rewarding thing I think for the job is when you do play someone's track, and sometimes you don't, when you're just doing the show and you're in your bubble doing the show, you don't realise how much it does mean to these artists. And when they message you, like you've messaged me for thank you so much, and you think, oh my gosh, maybe you're giving somebody their first play on radio, and it's amazing, isn't it? And it's just and it's that feeling. So yeah, it really can. I don't want to be cliche, but Introducing can change some artists' life, and it has done.
It's for me, like I always think any opportunity like that is worth something. I found, from people contacting me afterwards from different agencies or whatever, or just like I don't know, a few more followers even. It's a small thing maybe, but it all adds up. So
definitely.
Yeah, that's really helpful. I didn't realise that you had the power to do that. So that's really,
we've got a lot of
really
power.
good. So from your bio, you've shared, I've read your bio, and yeah, well, that's what it's there for, I guess, isn't it? And I've read about your experience in hospital radio. Is that right? You started at the age of 12, am I correct?
Yes, yeah.
I'd really be interested to know, you're still young, but like, what advice would you give to people who want to get into either radio or producing? Because I believe you've done some producing as well.
Yeah, I literally done a bit of everything. Name the job, I've done it. Yeah, even though I feel like I'm 24, I've done this for 10 plus years on some scale, not obviously being paid from the age of 12. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a good old 10, 11 years. So I can't even count. I think that's like 12, isn't it? I don't even know.
12.
Maths isn't my strong.
I'll give you 12. 12 years of experience in radio.
I was just about to say, you don't even need maths in radio. You do, because of back timings. But yeah, someone does that for you. Jokes. So yeah, I from the age of 12, when I was like, right, I really want to do radio. And kind of that was kind of the starting age, because I feel like any younger, they'll be like, you're too young. So hospital radio and community radio is how I started out. Really young. You volunteer, obviously, you're not getting paid for it at all, but it's the experience. And some of my best memories was in community radio, because that's where you make your mistakes as well. I always remember, and even student radio, even when I was at university, and all my lecturers would be like, Nat, this is where you make your mistakes, because then when you go into the real world, you can't do that. Right. So yes, advice number one would definitely be, if you want to get into radio, go and volunteer. You're not going to get paid for it straight away. If you do, it's really, really lucky and really rare. But I almost feel like I wouldn't want to. I'd want to get that experience first on, to see what it's like, and obviously it's not paid, but if you really want it that much, you will make that commitment. I feel like as well, my mum and dad, just shout out to them, they have literally sacrificed, not so much, but they've sacrificed loads of just taking me to different things and places. Obviously at the age of 12, I couldn't drive. So every Sunday I'd be like, Dad, can we go to the station? And when I got my first show on community radio, I think I was about 14 maybe, and my dad had to sit in with me, but they're so dedicated to my career, bless them, they didn't mind. But yeah, you have to kind of put the work in to kind of get the work, but yeah, you need to look enthusiastic and show that you want to do this by volunteering, or when I was at uni, went out and partied, but a lot of the time I actually dedicated a lot of my time to volunteering at bigger stations, like internet stations, but and communities in London areas, but obviously it just wasn't paid. And some of the things that you were doing, and you was doing it quite a long time, you did think oh my God, will this ever, will I ever get my break? Paid. But when the jobs do come up, because people don't actually look for what paid work you do, they just look for experience, and anything is experience. So even if it is hospital radio, community radio, you've been in that environment, so that is experience. You don't have to have the best careers in radio. You don't have to be an exec at BBC or anything like that to get the job. You just have to have a lot of experience and just show that you're dedicated, because also if somebody's got one thing on their CV and somebody's got 10 things, they're well, they've gone out and done what they love to do. So yeah, I think that's really the biggest advice, even if it's going and making the coffees. I feel like I did that. I'd email producers. I think also, if you know a show you want to work on or a station you want to be at, contact the people. It's always really scary, and trust me, I went to university and a lot of people didn't do this, and maybe they're not where they should be now because they didn't, but pick up the phone, email, once, twice, maybe 3 times, probably after that. No more. Yeah. I'd say 3 times. Yeah, 3 times more, I would say. I've done it 3 times, and then that's when I've got an opportunity. So don't give up, but don't pester. Especially I always 2-week gap. I always do. But yeah, so I would contact people and be like, I love this show because of X, Y, and Z. I wouldn't do a copy and paste job. You have to really know that, show them that you love the show. Like we can tell like the copy and paste jobs, because also I've had emails where people have put my name wrong because they've copied and pasted it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to contact people, because I love hearing from people, be it like asking me for advice and things like that. But you just need to show that you really want this, that kind of
thing. One other thing that you mentioned, which I find quite interesting from my perspective, you want to represent women really well in the industry, and maybe I in the past have been a little naive to this, but I think there is quite a male heavy influence, or has been a male heavy influence in the world of radio, and I would like to hear your take on it and the kind of role model you want to be to other females who are up and coming as well. So maybe you can talk a little bit about your passion there.
I kind of feel like, just being a female anyway, I'd back any female. Definitely, I think when you're a female, you realise it more than a male. Like it is just life, isn't it? But a lot of people don't realise, like they'll just turn the radio on and it could be men all day, but that's just normal. Like people don't realise that. But it takes those people to kind of be like, hang on a minute, there's not a female voice on the station at all today, for those changes to kind of be made. I guess I've always, even in my own personal life, I've always been surrounded by really strong, independent females. So I've always stood for that. Even like my dad, being a man, even him showcasing to me that, like kind of supporting women and things like that. So I think that's kind of where it's come from as well. But growing up and listening to like the absolute icons like Annie Mac, Annie Nightingale, Sarah Cox, Zoe Ball, like just, I could go on. There's so many amazing females nowadays, whereas I feel like when they started, there was so many females, but they just wasn't being heard. It was just male dominated. We've still got a long way to go, definitely. But I think it is women just supporting women. But not only that, like their male peers, and people have got better. I mean, I speak from a kind of a dance music background. It's a classic where like there'll be festival lineups and there'll be like one woman on there, or like people book people for sets and like where's the women kind of thing. And also that classic, oh, you're just a female DJ. No, we're not female DJs, we're just a DJ, we're just like you know. But it takes probably maybe even more than male peers to support women, and not just do it for being a woman, doing it for the talent, because there's so many independent females out there that are better than men. I say that speaking as a woman, but they're better at their craft. But some people just get the job because they're a man, which is really sad. But it takes just people to maybe, just take 5 minutes, just really think, okay, I've got the power and I'm creating an event. Oh, I'd love X, Y, and Z, but actually I've got, there's this female really, it just takes like people to just kind of make it routine almost nowadays to do it. And it shouldn't be like that. And it's really sad that we're having to sit here and talk about it, really, because it should just be everyday life. But I mean, I've had it where I've had jobs in the industry, and for example, I've walked in and it's very male heavy, and you kind of get the look as if to say, can you even do this job? Like, what are you doing here? And then, you do your job and they're like, oh, wow, you do a really good job. It's like, oh, is that because I'm a female? Because I'm blonde and, I talk not as posh as some people, and you think like, I can't do this, but actually I have got the skills there. And so it's just society, isn't it? It just takes people to kind of open their eyes. But it definitely starts off, I think, females just supporting females in whatever they do, and being that voice. If I ever became to that level where I had a voice, all I would be doing would be supporting other females and bringing them up. But then on that level, it takes the males to do it as well, if not more. If you have got like an opportunity out there, and you are like just filling things with men, then just have a sit back and have a nice think and think, actually, I think we need to be bringing some more females into this.
Wow, that's so. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's sad and it's scary. I mean, we have, like I said, we have got better, but there's such a way to go, I think.
Thank you for being really honest about that.
Yeah, that's why.
You know, it's
support women.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I also think like there is an intuitiveness to radio, to presenting as well, which I remember listening to people like certainly Annie Mac, you know, and just love being drawn in, you know.
So it was something different back then. It's like a woman's voice.
And just I think for me as well, I really enjoyed the different personalities.
Yeah.
And perhaps it was simply that they were just so good they couldn't be ignored.
Yeah.
And they were and are still so good. So, and I wish you all the very best with your career as well, because I think you're onto a great thing. I've certainly really appreciated you. I haven't got you on here just because you played my music, but I have appreciated you playing my music. But I appreciate your openness and willingness to dialogue and do something like this when you could just be like, oh, sorry, I'm too busy. I'm doing my show in an hour or 2 hours. You're doing this just before your show. So it really means a lot to me.
No, that's absolutely fine.
How can people check you out, cheer you on, find out more about you as a presenter? Let us know. How can we follow?
I'm mainly Natalie_Malcolm on all social media.
Right.
L before the last M. A lot of people, it's a Scottish surname, a lot of people don't spell that right. And I have got a kind of a portfolio, Natalie Malcolm Radio.wix.com is one of them, but do you know what, if you find me on social media, I have a link tree that's literally
That's where I found it.
it's yeah. I was even thinking, I was like, I don't even know the URL to my portfolio that's half done, half not. I love Linktree. It's got everything in there, so I think Instagram is probably the best place, and all my links are in one link, which is great.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
And check her out, go listen to her shows.